Mini quiches is what we're making today. We're looking at using up things that's in your fridge. We're looking at the types of eggs that's out there, and we're looking at making delicious little snacks that you can eat during the day while you're doing remote learning. These are the ingredients you need. You need to collect them first. So one sheet if you're only making about 9. If you want to make more, 2 sheets. You get the short crust pastry and Woolworths. It's about $2.50 for 5 sheets. Any cheese that's in your fridge, just grate it, and any bits and pieces you've got. So I'm going to use, I've got half a tomato, I've got some spring onion, I've got some ham left in the fridge. And the eggs I'm going to use are free range eggs. In fact, these are really sustainable because they've come from our neighbours' chickens. So the free range eggs means that they have been given really nice living conditions, and their flavour is a lot stronger, and they're maybe a little bit more expensive in the shops, but it's definitely worth it for the flavour. The other eggs that you can get, and you can tell you in the packaging, is whether they're caged or whether they're barn, and those also you need to look at. So that is one of the theory lessons we're going to look at later in the week. Just a little bit of milk, some salt and pepper, some cheese, and you could have corn, you could have onion. Okay. First thing you're going to do is very finely chop your spring onions. Because they are mini quiches, everything needs to be chopped up very, very small. So just chop up your spring onion. If you don't like spring onion, you don't have to put it in, but it does give it colour and it does give it flavour. Next thing you're going to chop is your tomato. So we just want that chopped up. Again, tomatoes are in it for colour. Tomatoes are very, very good. They're full of vitamin C, they're full of minerals. So we're just going to chop this tomato. And remember last week when I told you hold your blade down, use your wrist action. Just chop that up very, very small. And then with your hand, just going again, chop it up into very, very small pieces. So it's such a good recipe for just leftover things that's in the fridge. Once you've got all chopped up, next thing you're going to do is use your pastry. Pastry, just let's leave it out of the freezer for about 10-15 minutes before you're going to use it. And then use a cutter bigger than your tray that you've got. Make sure your tray is greased well so they don't stick. And you're just going to, once the pastry is nice and soft, you're just going to press down and then peel very gently, and then you're going to press it into your tin. So you keep going until you've got all your pastry used. I'll show it to you one more time. So use your cutter, press down quite hard, and then just peel it off very gently, and use your fingers just to press it into the tin. What we're ready to do is we're going to fill the little quiches. So we're going to fill them with all our chopped vegetables. We've got our milk weighed out, so it's 1/3 of a cup or 80 mils. We're going to crack our egg straight into the milk because this is what we're going to make a custard. And because sustainability is what we're thinking about, eggshells are really good crushed and put in your garden. So what we're going to do with the egg and milk is we're just going to whisk it, because so this is your custard mixture. And then we're just going to season it with some salt and pepper. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just use your hands, and you're going to put a little bit of the onions and tomatoes into each of the cases, or what ingredients you are using. So just a few. A little bit of ham in each one. Obviously, you know, you have to make sure your hands is nice and clean. And then when you fill them all, when you've got them all filled, you're going to use your custard. That's why it's good that it's in a jug. You're going to pour it in. Be careful, don't overflow. And then you're going to use and finish them off with a little bit of grated cheese. So it doesn't matter what cheese it is, just whatever you've got in the fridge. So these are now ready to go into the oven, go in at 200 degrees for about between 10 and 15 minutes until the actual custard is set. So the custard should be solid, golden brown. What your quiches should look like. Pastry is turned golden brown. The egg is set, it's not liquid anymore, and the cheese is sort of turned golden brown.